are live.
We're live. Ooh. Welcome back, everybody. So it's been a couple weeks since we played. Let's see. You guys have been making your way through the jungle. You came across a large plateau where you fought Nani Poo, a strange, ugly magic woman with living bodies buried in her backyard. Full Frankenstein shit. After defeating her, looting her house, moving on, you were debating the best place to put your efforts next and decided maybe you should go get a little bit more insect repellent, just if we're going to be trekking across the jungle for a little while. So first stop was to Camp Vengeance. Had some random encounter along the way, and then eventually reached the camp. You chatted around a little bit. I believe Thoridne and Smoke checked in with the head surgeon, field surgeon, at the medical tent, offered some aid, offered some trade for medical supplies, strange herbs you had found at Nani Poo-Poo's place, things like that, and asked a little bit about part of the wall that had been crushed in. And Chris, if at any time you're having tech issues or you're not seeing something I'm referring to, let me know. I'm about to pull you onto this screen. Actually, no, not yet. Chris, you're not here. That's okay. I will pull you onto the screen, though, just so you can see what's going on. Like, whatever works. So this is Camp Vengeance. The huge section in the southwestern corner of it had been crushed in. You saw lots of the Order of the Gauntlet members were hard at work, repairing it, refilling the spikes in the trench, building the wall back up, etc. Talking with the head surgeon, you were told that frost giants had come in, and there was a bit of a scuffle with them before the commander came out and smoothed things over. Was able to kind of talk them down as a misunderstanding. Thought they were some giant beast come out of the jungle to attack. After that, I believe you guys talked with each other to figure out your next course of action, and decided to... Well, you were able to purchase some more insect repellent here. It was about 50% more expensive, but you purchased another 20 days worth. Smoke purchased 40. And you were planning to head off. Figured that was enough. You could head off towards where you had lost the trail of the goblins, or where you had left the trail of the goblins, I should say. See if you can find that control amulet for the Shield Guardian Vorn that you had found in the jungle. And that's where we left off. We were gathering ourselves to head off into the jungle. Professor Jason, you weren't with us last session, so I'm not sure if there was anything you were hoping to do here in Camp Vengeance before we left. I think we had determined that everyone had about 22 days left of insect repellent salve, and so they decided to buy another 20 days worth. Just to top up and last a little bit for a nice little trek through the jungle in case it's necessary. Would you like in on that as well?
Yes, I would. I've been talking with my mic muted.
Oh, you're talking with your mic muted. Nice. Okay.
10 out of 10. Would definitely do it again.
For the dosage of 20 applications, it was a gold and 5 silver. Gold and a half. Smoke, it was revealed, does not carry coinage smaller than gold pieces, and refused to take silver pieces as change, so she bought 3 gold worth of application because then she had an even amount of gold. But
don't judge my idiosyncrasies, okay? Let me have this.
One gold, 5 silver has been removed.
Was there anything else we were hoping to do in Camp Vengeance? Did you want to? Were there any other supplies that you've thought about since then that they might be able to sell to you that you'd want to purchase, or any other questions you'd like to ask or inquire about, or anything like that?
Could I snag some more arrows by chance?
Arrows could be done, sure. Those run you about.
I don't know why you're going to tell her a money number. She's just going to say, "Give me a gold's worth."
Hey, I know.
If she can carry that many arrows.
Yeah, I need to refill my holy water.
Oh, apparently they are gold. Yeah, well, it's the normal price for arrows is a gold for 20 shot for a quiver. That's the normal book price. However, here at Camp Vengeance, they are running more expensive, just because they need them for their stuff. Actually, this is probably it's probably 2 gold for the 20 shot. It's probably double price on this one.
Very well. And that's 20 arrows?
Yeah, 20 arrows. Sorry, what did you ask, Jason?
Is there a way I can refill my holy water vials? Or flask? I have 2 of them, and they're both empty.
Holy water. Holy water. I believe they do have some clerics on hand that might be able to bless it for you. But the ceremony takes a fair bit of silver.
1 hour and 25 gold worth of powdered silver.
Right. And you're taking them away from their healing and their other duties for a bit.
I mean, if I could just get my hands on the powdered silver, we have a cleric in the party who can fix this.
That's true. That's true. Powdered silver. They have, if you have a way of powdering it, I mean, there's plenty of silver coins around you could exchange for. You might even have some.
I mean, I don't really have a way to powder silver.
Let's see. What do we have?
I have a way to melt silver.
We have Tenzien. He's really strong.
Hey, Tenzien, just pound this to dust.
Do you actually hand it to him?
Oh, well, seeing as how I only have 5 silver on me.
Let's see. Thoridne has Mason's tools. Navigator's tools. Gerald has no tool proficiencies. It doesn't seem like there is a way to powder it out here. No, unfortunately, they don't have any powdered silver on hand. They do have clerics who could perform it for you.
Yeah, how much are the clerics?
No, I'm sorry. They have clerics who could perform the ceremony to bless the water, but they would need the material component as well. So you could either, if you find a good way of grinding down a metal to powder it, Thoridne could do that for you easy, or you may have to go back to Port Nian's already purchase some that's pre-ground, or you may find a way of doing it out in your travels.
I mean, I have a giant sledgehammer, so I could just put it on a rock and beat it.
Would that powder the silver?
I don't think so. It would probably break it.
But you could certainly trade here for a whole bunch of silver coins. If you need a money exchange is easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Money gets heavy then.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
No, it's fine. That's 25 gold worth of silver. Jeez. 150 silver piece.
Okay. What else are we hoping to do? Or do you need to make a game plan with each other, or what are we thinking?
I think I'm ready to head out. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to head out.
Murder, hobo, murder, hobo.
You can't talk. I need that in grunts.
We all feel the energy of it, though. It's like radiating off of Tenzien.
Bathroom's over there.
Okay. As you prepare yourselves, I believe we were spending one night, right? It was an evening's rest before setting off in the morning. Yeah.
And we're still level 4, correct?
Yes.
Right now, yes. Yep. Okay. Then I'm gonna pull you all to the map. Oh, you had also learned. I believe someone had asked around at one point, trying to find Artist Simber's daughter, whose name is escaping me at the moment. And she was not to be found at the camp. Like one or two of the guards had seen her go, but she wasn't like bound here or anything. She's not with the order of the Gauntlet, so she was allowed to leave, and she had left a while back before the giants had arrived. Okay, so pulling you all to the map. Where are we going? What are we doing?
We're gonna look for the control, right? For the guardian guy.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere over here.
Do we want to continue there, or do we want to pick up over here and make our way kind of over?
Well, I mean,
I thought we were going after the goblins.
yeah,
Gobbles.
because the golem is right here. And then we started heading north. We stopped there. We turned around, and then we headed back south to Orlonga.
That's
So-
right. That's
so
right.
if we just head due north, we should be able to pop into where we were last time.
Sweet, let's do it.
You trust that you'll be able to find the goblin tracks that you were following?
Do they have compasses here?
A compass?
Yes.
Sure. Why not? Let's see.
And also, who's got the jug?
I think Tenzin still has it.
I want my jug back.
Yeah, one of the camp suppliers has a couple of compasses. Their scouting parties sometimes take them in unfamiliar territory, though they haven't been used much since they set up base here. It hasn't been necessary. And so yeah, he'd be willing to part with a compass for like maybe let's say 5 silver. It's
Done.
not great quality, but it seems to point seems to point in the correct direction. It's not pretty, it's functional.
Yes, as long as it points north, we'll be okay. And
Yeah,
also,
you
I
can
am
mark that down.
removing the alchemy jug off mine, so somebody else has to track it now.
All right. Tenzin, you have the alchemy jug?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Nice. So
And you said 5 silver for the compass?
yeah, yes, 5 silver for the
5
compass.
silver has been removed.
Excellent. So you're planning to just head due north, expecting that you'll find the traces of goblin tracks,
No, I'm expecting to find our tracks.
your own tracks that are 2.5 weeks old.
Yeah.
In a rainy jungle.
We have a Tenzien. He's not very quiet.
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
Okay, guys. We are heading north, apparently. At first, for the sake of expediency, because I know this is like a number of days of travel. As you head off into the jungle, at first, it's a lot of it's very familiar. This was the path you had taken when first leaving Camp Vengeance to head north towards Vorn. So you see a lot of the same, some of the same trees you had seen, marks of passage of the various patrols from the camp, things like that. But at a certain point, you're following that path, and it starts to veer off slightly towards the west. The professor, with his fresh compass, insists, no, we should head directly north. That should take us to where we left off last time. And it was evening, and it was morning. Yes, with no random encounters or everything. Everything seems to be going pretty swell for the moment. I'm just doing a whole bunch of rolls really quick. Okay, fair enough.
We still have
On
Eku
the-
with us, right?
We do have Eku, yes.
So is she helping with the navigation?
Yeah, I kind of assumed, yeah. Do you want her to?
Yes.
Okay. It helps that this is still within reasonable distance of the river. There's lots of small animal paths and things like that help orient yourselves along with the compass as you try not to get too far turned around. On one of the days traveling north, you do actually end up slightly turned around, and you're like, wait, hold up, something's wrong here. And with Eku's help, as you guys try to orient yourselves again, it seems you had followed a game path that went slightly a little too far east, and you realize, oh, we're actually a couple miles off course over here. But you quickly are able to reorient yourselves and realize where you actually are and get back on track. So it costs you an extra day, unfortunately. But then we continue on north, and I believe I can reveal this token. Yes, there it goes.
After having been off track for almost a day, I'm going to be religiously checking the compass from this point forward.
Fair enough. Roll. Okay. So it takes you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th day. So it's 5 days of insect repellent and all that good stuff. Where's my calendar? Let me pop that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So current date. Cool. It is the 23rd of Myrtle, whatever that means. We really should just use real world calendar, so we all
Please.
figure it out. At some point, I'll adjust it. It's fine. As you come upon, let's see, on the 5th day, as you make your way into this part of the forest, there are little bits of it that start to become familiar. maybe a tree you think you've seen before or that kind of thing. It's hard to tell though. A lot of rains, a lot of thunderstorms have come through. It's kind of messed with the orientation of some of the plants you've seen around here. You know, some large creatures have come through and crunched down a lot of the foliage, and then some of it grew back up, and so there's broken twigs and things that are very unfamiliar. And as a reminder, each of these hexes is a large, like 10-mile hex. If I could have one of you make a survival check for me, and you can make it with advantage from Eku's help.
Who has the best survival?
+6.
I have
Go
a
for it.
+1.
I have a +5, so Professor, you're good to go.
Okay. Searching around for a bit, Professor, you and Eku kind of go at it in this area, trying to find some of those same signs you were following, and eventually you find like a small break in some of the trees that looks very similar to when you guys made the decision where you had camped last, and then made the decision, okay, we should turn and head back. You're like, I'm pretty sure this is where we camped at. Looking around in this area, the previous signs you were following are long since gone. You're like, okay, those tracks are missing. We're not seeing them. So hopefully we're in the right place, you know. But assuming we think we are. Whatever those tracks were gone. However, you are able to suss out other tracks. You can find various little the little spore splats from Vigipygmies that you had seen back at Vorn, and some other little traces of Goblin Passage as well. Not necessarily going in the same direction as before, but you are able to pick out, after a couple hours of searching, you guys are able to pick out signs of Goblin activity in this area. Should you wish to follow that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Going through the jungle for a bit, the professor starts leading the way. He and Eku seem to have a consensus, going, well, maybe this will be the path to follow. And it actually takes you north. And then and you're like, okay, well, these paths still going. We haven't necessarily lost the trail of whatever these goblins are that we're following. But they it's getting late. Probably need to stop for the evening, that kind of thing.
Good idea.
And when you resume the next morning, it's kind of a light drizzle. The air's getting very humid right now, in that way it does when it's like, if it were heavy enough cloud cover to rain, it wouldn't be nearly as hot, but instead it's just a little damp drizzle, super humid. Pretty much exactly what you're living in right now. No, I'm kidding. And the tracks take you in the northeast direction, up into the hills a bit, or into the ground starts getting a little more up and down. You can, every now and then peeking through the trees, you can see some of the coastal mountain range there, the mist cliffs peeking through. And at some point, you guys pause to, at a small spring that you find. Most of your water has been coming from the rain you collect as you're this far into the jungle. But you pause at this small spring, and that Eku is pretty certain should be around the corner. Lots of animal tracks going in that direction. And as you're kind of approaching it through the jungle, moving at your little normal pace, you see someone. You see someone actually up at the in between you and where Eku thinks this spring might be. And as you pause, hold, large figure, you actually realize, wait, is that a person? What is that? It's a figure, and it kind of shuffles a little bit. But as you stare at it, you realize it's about a 6 foot tall, kind of boxy thing. I for lack of a better term, kind of looks like a big refrigerator. But you see it shuffling there. It's kind of tipping on its side a little bit. It's got some fun designs worked into it. Looks like paneling on the side, different runes and things carved into it, and two kind of odd stubby legs underneath it. It's kind of weird refrigerator with legs. And it's just kind of standing there. It twists every now and then. It's hard to see if there's any sort of face or eyes on it or anything like that. But the feet seem to point in a direction, so it seems to have a front to it. And as you kind of pause and are staring at this strange kind of metallic, must be a construct of some kind. As you're staring at it, you see another figure coming from further off, maybe 50 feet beyond this strange construct, begins making their way through some of the underbrush back towards the creature. And it looks to be a human of some kind, or at least a humanoid. Could be an elf or something like that. Walking towards and comes up to the strange construct and begins digging in a bag that she's carrying. And Chris, if you want to give a little more detail and describe yourself for me.
Okay. So as you see, you can tell that this figure is more feminine, and off in the distance, you can tell that she is wearing pretty decent but very well worn leather armor that seems to be almost exotic in nature that you guys haven't seen when it comes to more common issues of leather armor, and you can tell that it was well made. And you see a giant long rectangular leather bag on her back, and you can also see a quiver of arrows, and then some sort of sword at her hip. And can't tell what she is saying, but almost as if the construct is saying "gonk" from the echoes from the wind.
Little metallic robotic noises coming out. Gonk.
And she seems to be an average in height, but she has not noticed your guys' presence.
And like Chris was saying, the leather armor, it's kind of a strange cut. You've never seen leather designed quite like that. It's almost, but it's also a little. You expect it to be a little warm. Wasn't the ideal leather choice for a hot, humid jungle. But then again, Gerald's wearing plate armor, so what do we know? Or chainmail. And yeah, she doesn't seem to have noticed your presence, but doing something there. Actually, Chris, if you want to roll me a perception check.
Okay.
We didn't even do a test roll, did we? Did it come over? I don't think it did.
I am making it now. 20
Okay.
to everyone. Oh my.
And let's have someone. I guess the.
How does a
the
7 sound? And did you
7.
guys see the roll?
I see it in D&D Beyond. I don't think it came through with Beyond 20.
Have
Which is a shame.
Little red dice
Oh,
down there. At the
Chris,
bottom.
did you enable the Beyond 20 extension while you were in Foundry?
In Foundry? No. How do I do that?
So be on the Foundry page that's showing the map. And
Yeah.
then in the upper right-hand corner next to your search bar, there should be the little red bee. And if you click that bee while you're on the Foundry page, then it'll connect everything together.
All right, search bar, a little B. I am not seeing it.
There,
Just
I put
check
a
where your
picture in Discord.
Yeah, just check where your extensions are.
But I did see the roll in D&D Beyond, so yeah, 7, excellent. Or well, no, I saw 2.
Yeah.
Oh, you just rolled a flat D20 and added your mod. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And you should be able to click on. We'll work on that. So 7. Nope, she does not see you guys. But there's this human with a large construct out here. It's not your construct. It's not Vorn, but another construct. Another construct out here in the middle of the jungle in roughly the same area. What do you do?
Okay, so my D20 extension is on.
You can roll something. Just try it. See what happens.
From D20.
Yeah. And actually, you can click on. Can you click on like next to your perception per se? It should say +5. Are you able to click on that +5? Okay, so it's rolling in D&D Beyond, but not bringing it over with the extension. Fascinating. Might need to refresh the page. Not sure. But we can see the rolls, so it's not the end of the world. I assume this would be, I suppose the professor would see this first, coming through the underbrush. You were kind of leading some of the tracking on this.
Just the when talking to a construct.
Yes. Kind of a strange, boxy construct. Not the elegant humanoid design of Vorn. It's a little smaller, a little shorter than Vorn as well.
Echo, if this kind of whisper at Echo and ask him if it's out of the fort. Whatever. People that wants to pay
sure.
money.
She does not believe so. No, she doesn't see any of their markings, any of their insignia. And as you look closer, you don't either see the insignia of the Flaming Fist. The Flaming Fist being the military force of Baldur's Gate, who are the ones that have the outpost at Fort Balurian.
Gotcha. Then I am just going to.
Oh, Jason, you seem to have gotten really quiet.
Oh, I guess I'm just really far away from my mic. I was leaning back in the chair because I was being lazy. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to make sure I've got the weapons away and get out of the underbrush and slowly but stealthily approach them.
Stealthily, huh?
Not like
Okay.
actively like jumping between tree and tree, but just like walking cautiously to avoid like stepping on any rocks or anything. Or twigs.
Okay, roll me a stealth. Let's see what happens.
Aha, let's see how bad I am.
Ooh, 21. Yeah, whoever this person is, she does not see you approach.
And then I'm right when I get next to her, I go, "How's it going?"
So about
Oh my.
you're able to get up probably within about 5 feet before you start running out of trees to hide behind.
I wasn't trying to hide
But-
behind the trees. I was just trying to move quietly and cautiously.
Right. I mean, you just kind of run out of foliage, probably about 5-10 feet away from her. So
Startled with surprising dexterity, you find a light crossbow pointed in the center mass on your chest in a very thick accent. Who are you and what do you want?
Seeing the crossbow leveled, Tenzin will rush out of the trees to kind of close the distance with an axe and basically come at her from a different angle, kind of like a wolf pack tactic.
all right, Christina. So you see a couple of dwarves burst out of the trees. One of them wearing, some decent leather armor, just kind of approaching, a large sledgehammer on his back, and then another one, crazed, shirtless, busting out with a giant battle axe, comes swinging behind you. Couple of big dwarves.
I mean, there's a sledgehammer, a pickaxe, a crowbar.
And Tenzin, seeing that the crossbow hasn't fired yet, the axe will just be maybe a foot from her, just held out. But hey, lower that and I'll lower this, as he kind of motions downward with the tip of the axe, sort of thing.
Gerald, Smoke, Thoridne, you guys kind of following the line trail behind. You catch up pretty quick to see this going down if you have any interest.
If we wanted you
I
dead,
mean,
you would have been dead before you
Smoke
even
is
knew we
going
were
to stay
here.
in the tree line, but I'll palm a dagger just in case something goes sideways.
Seeing the dwarves, she switches languages to Dwarven, and it says, "What is your clan?"
You think I have a clan? You're hilarious. In common. I am Professor Benmis. And these
Professor Bendis.
Benmis.
Benmis. Can you spell that for me, please?
Benmus.
My headcanon is she actually asked this. Can you spell that for me, just so I have it down in my notebook?
I love it.
Yeah. You don't have a clan, as she continues in Dwarvish.
In common.
Is this all with the crossbow up? Like pointing at a crossbow at his chest and be like, spell that, please. Is that how?
No, she lowered her crossbow just a tad bit, in a ready position.
Tenzin will mimic, and he'll drop the axe, so he could swing if he needs to, but it's not up and ready to go.
And
Sure,
Bimus, in true Bimus fashion, gives 0 fucks and just continues on like it's not anything out of the ordinary.
Swagger.
Well,
Sorry, I cut somebody
dwarves
off.
That, from where I am from, they're usually very proud of their clans and will not stop talking how great their clans are.
Oh, I point to the one with the axe. Goes, that's probably this one, but he doesn't talk.
I figured it out that much. And she lowers her crossbow just a little bit more, and switching back to common. So, what gives you the right for sneaking upon a lady?
Well, seeing as how it's just you and your construct, and looking up at the sky and kind of telling, I have a party of 6. You're kind of out here all by yourself, so we figured we'd come look and see if you needed some help or assistance.
I am definitely not lost.
She's lost.
100%.
Tenzin raises an eyebrow at that one.
But I do a pardon. Where's my manners? She curtsies and is, I am Christina and Cannith. I'm
Okay.
just a artificer. I am here exploring this region, for I heard rumors about a city that disappeared. I'm want to hopefully reach this destination. But this map, it is so crude that I have ended up in a totally different part of this continent.
I pull out my map case and then pull out my map, walk over to his construct that I'm assuming is probably, what, about 4 feet tall?
That's up to you,
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm about 4.5 feet tall is the actual like construct like height.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just walks over to you and gonk.
I kind of pick up 2 rocks off the ground, roll up my map. 1 rock on one side on top of the contract, 1 rock on the other side of the contract, so the map hangs down facing us. Here's my map.
Can you see above the construct?
No, I'm like reaching up to put the rock on top of it so that the map hangs off the side.
Oh, okay.
Here's my map. Does this help you any?
She looks at the map and seeing that it is much more detailed and with areas that she hasn't gained access to. Her eyes shut up in surprise at seeing her destination or her objective. It's like,
Yeah, so the map you're presented with that the professor
time.
The map you're presented with that the professor pulls out of his bag and posts up is basically what's on the screen. Is the large map of Chult. A lot of the coastal areas, whatnot, are all mapped out. Various known cities. Some of it might be a little old information, but most of that's been charted. There's large swaths of it in the interior that are uncharted. Though you can see the little notations that the professor has made as they've traveled, marking down places they found, trying to denote. He's not like an expert cartographer, but he's trying to chart their path as they go. Yeah, so you can see a lot of those notations made in there. And so basically what's on the screen is what your characters are looking at.
The location I was looking for was the former city of Mesro. I heard rumors that the city disappeared during the last spell plague. And I am quite interested in studying the site to see why it disappeared.
What can you tell me about Mesro? I suspect we might be trying to find the same place.
And Professor, go and make me a history check if you could. I would have Smoke do one too, but she had to walk away from the computer. So 15. Okay. What you know of Mesro, Professor, is not much more than Christina just said. You've heard the name. Because you saw it on the map here. You had done a little bit of research on Chult prior to setting off from Baldur's Gate. Just, digging through your tomes just to see what any little bits you could find. And yeah, when the last spell plague happened, oh no, my body's going blank. Eric, was the spell plague like 100 years ago, or was it more recent than that? It was pretty...
I think it was over 100. Yeah.
The second Sundering? Yeah, it was about 100 years ago. From your little notes, you had heard about a city called Mesro. It was a city-state, something of a regional power here on Chult. But when the spell plague happened, the island of Chult slammed back into the continent of Faerun and became a peninsula. All that stuff. The city was destroyed. Say that again? Yeah, go for it. The city was destroyed. There's barely even any ruins left or anything like that. But not a whole lot has been written about the topic, just because it happened in such a cataclysmic event that people just kind of chalked it up as another oddity and moved on. It is denoted on your map, however. Smoke, you've heard a lot of the same things too, but from a different angle, less the bookie angle and more the ships you were traveling on would sometimes use Mesro as a point of reference over by the Kitcher's Inlet for their sailing and things like that. But it was more of just a historical thing. It's like those old farmers that say, turn left at where the old turkey farm used to be, and it's like there's not even a turkey farm anymore. So over time it becomes less and less of a point of reference. But
The old broken barn.
right.
Yeah, you're on the wrong side of the map, or the wrong side of the peninsula if you're trying to get over there.
If it wasn't for this such archaic map, I would have found it by myself.
Okay.
She kind of shows you a map that's like some really crude drawings. It looks like it was like copied out of a maybe from an official map or something, but it's clearly a copy of a copy, and it's not nearly the quality of the one you have.
Needs some more pixels.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, like Jahaka Bay is noted as being like almost on the south side of the peninsula, like way down here or something.
Yeah, whoever sold you this map is... They need some help.
Smoke is going to just appear on the professor's shoulder to look down at this map, and she's not going to say anything, but she's just going to look at it judgingly like cats can do, and just go,
Professor
Okay.
ignores it.
Yeah. Christina like squeals in excitement for seeing the small cat, grabs you, and starts cuddling you. Aren't you
Absolutely
the most
not.
adorable?
I dodge, move out of the way. No.
Tenzin will reach out his hand and try and like grab Christina's hand instead, and like just like lightly pat while like putting it back down towards her side, and just shakes his head. Then wags his finger a little bit of no touchy.
And just another side from the professor.
And Christina is visibly disheartened at the rejection of the cat.
Smoke moves to the professor's other shoulder.
But may I ask on what your party is doing on this continent?
Well, DM, have you given him backstory, or do we need to give him backstory?
No, he's here for a completely different reason you are. So Christina has no idea what's going on for you guys.
That Nathan told me is player to player and not character knowledge.
Okay, I didn't want to spend a lot of time harping on this, but yeah, we are down here searching for what is known as the Soulmonger. It is this device that has been stealing souls that have been resurrected, which is weird, but also suspecting it is not allowing souls to escape this plane to whatever plane they need to go to. And we are down here hunting and looking for it to find a way to turn it off. We have a friend and does some quick finger math in his head, or acquaintance that is probably dead at this point because they were getting weaker and weaker with each passing day.
That is unfortunate. Can I make a history check to see what this soul artifact is, or if there's anything similar to it for where I am from?
Well, you've definitely never heard the name Soulmonger before. But sure, make an Arcana check. Yeah.
Arcana? Okay.
Arcana. Okay. 18. So, plus D4. Oh, was that the racial thing?
Yep.
Arcana when doing Chrono check involving artisan tools. Okay, so this isn't involving artisan tools, but that's okay. It's just tools, so it's just a 2. So it just puts you down to 16.
Okay. 16.
But the professor gives a short description of what they know about the. I'm assuming, Professor, you're kind of describing what you know of the Soulmonger, or like how
Yep.
it works.
Yep, and what we know
Magic.
of where we think it is.
As he's kind of describing it, you haven't encountered any sort of magic like this yourself. You have heard tales from your world of different of powerful wizards who have achieved some kind of unholy form of immortality. Liches with their phylacteries. And this sounds kind of similar to that magic. But mentioning that to the professor, it's like, oh, well, we kind of knew that bit already. So it's not a whole lot of new information there. It sounds like what a lich might do, but it's twisted. It's not quite the same thing, because a lich will just go out and hunt for souls themselves. Something on this scale affecting an entire continent, an entire planet. This is pretty unheard of.
This sounds pretty serious. I can put off my curiosity for the time being, and if you're willing, I am to offer my expertise in assisting your party. How say you, Professor?
Okay with me.
It's a pleasure. Just let me introduce you to my contract. My construct. This is Gonk. He is my loyal companion. I created him myself.
Gonk.
Does it eat?
It does not require substance.
Okay.
What's it do?
Oh, he protects me, of course. And it also carries my gear.
It also seems to display maps pretty well, too. See Thoridne walking up.
Math, you say?
Maps.
Her interest is immediately piqued.
Maps.
Tenzin
Maps,
just
he
starts
says.
tapping at the piece of paper.
Oh, maps.
I have to ask, did you draw this map yourself, or did you buy it like this?
I was only limited to the resources I had at hand.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Well, we'll work on finding a better one for you. And Smoke will take the terrible map and just stuff it away somewhere. You don't need this anymore. We'll find you a better one.
So where are we going now?
Do we see any goblin activity
Well,
anywhere
I
around
was
here?
just about to ask her if she had seen any kind of goblin fortifications in her exploring of this side of the map. Or, sorry, peninsula.
Would that be a survival check on my end?
Well, you had to chase some off about 2 days ago from trying to mess with Gronk. But yeah, roll me a survival to see if you caught a whole lot of detail on them. 15? Okay. Yeah, you at night sometimes you hear them sometimes chanting or something. You'll hear a lot of noises that you think are goblins. So far, you've been moving away from that, trying to steer clear of some of the goblin stuff. But you've heard them chanting, that kind of thing. Wouldn't probably be too hard to follow that back the way you came.
Yeah, if you could take us back to where the goblins were messing with you, that'd be fantastic.
I would love to remove some goblin filth from this plane. They're this way.
Tenzin kind of makes a face at the filth part, like, okay.
Yeah, I encountered a scouting party a couple days ago, but I have heard the main tribe chanting. Would that be another survival check and like the direction of the chanting? Or a perception?
Yeah. Well, well, the direction you've been coming in for the last day or so was towards. You were coming from the southeast, and made your way northwest into this. Not that you knew that's what it was at the time, but you're like, you can point in the direction you just walked from, that kind of thing. And as you're like, well, if we go back that way, as we get closer, it might jump out at us, kind of thing.
Okay. I came from the southeast, from this current location. So if we just followed my tracks, we should be able to be in a closer proximity to the goblins.
When we DM question, we stumbled across her right before we were making camp, or the next day after we made camp.
It's maybe early afternoon, 1 or 2. You were Aku saw an opportunity to maybe fill some water skins at a natural spring instead of having to do some overnight rain catching, and you were just following some animal tracks towards this spring, not too far off of the Goblin Trail.
Okay, and then my next question is, what supplies do you have for survival?
Me, the GM?
No, sorry, our new companion. If any. Like, how have you been surviving? You run into bugs? Or...
Well, Christina, I suppose this is for you. But no, you actually don't have any bug repellent or anything in your inventory.
I do not.
I am going to... No. Never mind.
Great. Here, put some of this on, and the professor hands her 1 dose of bug repellent.
Well, thank you. And she applies it to her like exposed skin.
You've been pretty good so far at scavenging for food and water, that kind of thing. Finding little trails and things like that.
How far is your previous campsite?
What do you mean?
The camp where you were attacked, was it just last night, or is it a couple days walk from here?
It was a couple days walk.
So, I mean, we can start walking in that direction, make camp for the night, and then, continue on to where the camp was, or we can just continue our trail, as it were, that we were taking just with the new companion. Any thoughts? Opinions?
It would be best, and then we can get to know each other and explain each other's talents and skills, so that we can more efficiently work together.
This one thinks we are efficient.
Tenzin snorts.
Also, where's Gerald in all this?
You mean the boy?
He's just been leaning against a tree the whole time, just listening, watching, kind of intrigued.
Well, onwards, I think. Enough dilly-daddling. Let's fill our water skins and get moving.
Sounds like a great plan.
Okay.
With this spring, Eku was pretty sure that it was safe to drink from, right?
No. You'd have to boil it probably. Still. But that's nothing new.
Okay. Cool.
With the exception of the rainwater, most of the water you guys have drunk has had to be boiled first. Just on this trip in general. But she was pretty confident there was a spring here. It's probably mostly safe to drink. It's just, if you have the opportunity for fire, you could use it.
I mean, if push comes to shove, we always have the magic jug, whatever it is.
Tenzin pulls his finger out with a bit of mayonnaise on it and like, huh?
Oh my gosh, the mayonnaise!
Christina just raises a eyebrow at the dwarf's antics.
All right, DM, what's next?
Okay. You change your direction and you don't see any goblin tracks or anything going in the direction that Christina indicated, but she's pretty confident like this is the way she just came from. If you're wanting to maybe catch wind of the goblins or anything. And so assuming we change track and follow that path, Christina, go and make me a survival check if you would, please.
Survival check on my end. Got it.
With advantage, we'll have the professor has been kind of aiding on this.
Well, the first one was a nat 20.
Excellent. 21. Okay. Didn't even need the advantage. Never mind. Professor's useless. I'm kidding.
I really am.
She begins taking you southeast, and you guys are able to go for another couple hours before it starts to get dark. It starts to get heavier rain coming down. And you guys decide to set up a sort of camp, a shelter for the evening. At some point, well, no, not yet. The next day, let's see, that goes without problem. Yeah, that's fine. The next day, packing up and heading out further. The direction you're going starts to curve a little bit. Professor, you notice this with the compass that the path Christina's taken you on starts to go like further south. More true south instead of a southeast.
I would like to question her at this point. I would like to question her at this point.
She's pretty confident this is the direction.
Okay.
It's like, no, I stopped to grab a bite to eat on that stump over there, but eventually you, let's see, following that way south, some of the terrain starts getting really thick, lot of the trees are real dense here, forces you to kind of slow down, make your way at a little bit of a slower pace just to get through it. And eventually the evening comes again, and we go to rest. That evening, you think you can hear it. You start to make out just through some of the trees. It's kind of, with all the dense foliage, it's almost directionless. Like, it's hard to pinpoint what direction it's coming from. But somewhere over the canopy of trees, the sound filtering down, you think you can make out chanting, little bits of drums, things like that, in higher pitched voices as it carries through. And also in this region, while there's still some light out as you're getting closer, you start to see more signs of goblin activity. The little footprints here and there. You guys had faced goblins back at the Shrine of the Man of the Crocodile, and you had seen them with those decorated wooden masks with some sort of paint on them.
You mean the 3 goblins in a trench coat?
Exactly. And the goblin stacks. And so you start to find little places where there's like a what you can assume is a broken piece of masking. There's a snapped piece of wood that has some of that paint on it. Like maybe it broke off of one of those masks, or every now and then a little stake or a symbol painted on the side of a tree or something like that. You're starting to be like, oh, okay, there's a little more activity here beyond just tracks. And it was evening, and it was morning. And do I have my... I think I do. Sorry, I suddenly had a problem with Chult being weird. There we go.
We're back at Port
Port
Nanzaru.
Nanzaru, everybody.
Woohoo! Quick, everybody, resupply before we're teleported back.
Right.
Why is it fighting me? Why can't I do things while keeping the narrative flowing? Crap. Good. Okay, cool. The next day, she starts to lead you back more towards the east. Was the direction she had come from, kind of in this kind of curved S-shaped pattern. But Professor, you're starting to get the vibe with your survival instincts, and Eku kind of concurs that the goblins are probably more due south from here. Just based on the little signs you've been seeing, the tracks are getting heavier. Christina may have come from the east, but you're like, I think there's better odds to the south. And heading that direction, where is my thing?
I would absolutely like to redirect us that way.
For sure. This is... You slash your way through the jungle for a couple of hours after breakfast, making your way through a humid air. The sky's pretty blue today. You see some clouds floating here and there, but it's not raining, which is a nice reprieve. And at a certain point, cutting your way through the jungle, if I could have 2 of you make a perception check, please. Who's kind of keeping watch on the party as we're going through? I suppose the professor's been surviving. Smoke's keeping an eye out.
Keeping watch.
Yeah,
I
professor.
can keep an eye out as well. I have a +5 for my perception.
Professor's definitely nosing the map, making notes.
I am finally very
I'm
perceptive.
so proud of you.
I
Tenzin
am not
isn't really
very-
looking. He's just hacking away at the trees and just basically, oh, Professor points this way, hack, hack, hack.
Gerald gets a natural 20 and gets a 19. Incredible.
We love Gerald. He's great.
You're referring to the boy, right?
Yes.
Gerald and Smoke. Professor and Eku are keeping their eyes mostly on the ground, finding their way through leaves and things like that. Tenzin is making sure to hack a path forward. As you guys are keeping watch around, looking for threats like giant snakes to jump out and eat Smoke, and you start to see bigger signs of movement up in the trees. It's more than just the birds or things you're used to. And as you kind of stare at them closer as you guys are traveling, you see what you probably suspect to be probably a couple of goblins up in trees, just pacing the party, keeping watch. As they move to a different branch or adjust themselves, you see a glint of a small bit of like red paint or things like that, a flash of green skin, just these small figures moving through the trees.
Can I try to be stealthy and break off from our group to get up behind them in the trees?
If you'd like, yeah, go roll roll a stealth check.
I knew I was doing too good.
15. Okay. You move up into the trees to try and get near them, and as you get close, you start to lose sight of them, like they might have seen you break off or something, spotted you, and so then they're just, it always feels like they're just ahead of you, keeping out of the reach, keeping the watch. And you guys, let's see, so you're pacing with them up there, trying to catch one.
I'm not even trying to catch one. I just want to like be behind them, watching them watch our group kind of thing. Like I want to try to suss out what it is they're watching us for, if I can.
Okay. From your higher vantage, as you kind of play this back and forth game with them, of positioning in the trees, you see a little closer some of they are carrying weapons. The most obvious one being little short bows that they've got slung, but you see hilts and whatnot. It might be some kind of dagger or short swords or something. And from the higher vantage point, without the leaves below obscuring your view, you can see they're wearing painted masks as well. But as they dart through the trees, none of them have the weapons in their hands. They're using their hands for climbing and maneuvering, but they're not actively like taking aim at you guys or anything. Seems like they're just pacing, watching where you go, see how fast you're moving. And after about 2, maybe 3 hours of this, the trees start to get real dense before Tenzin they open up into a big wide clearing in front of you. It was like the trees just suddenly halted, just stopped. And looking out peeking out into this big open area, you can see a bit of a river flowing ahead. It's on the far side of the clearing. You can see that this is like a little. The clearing is kind of this bubble of open area on the side of a riverbank. But the trees have halted abruptly, as if the trees have been cut back to this point or something. And in the middle, not every tree though. There's a couple of smaller ones peppered throughout. You can see a bunch of little campfires, one or two small huts that have been set up, and then also a single large tree in the middle of this clearing. This tree has a huge canopy on it, probably 10, 20, 25, 30, probably about 100 feet across. This big, massive canopy up top. And looking in this tree at the top, you can see tons of ropes and platforms and things like that dangling from it. Some of them all the way to the ground. It looks like there might be a pulley system or an elevator system or something. Up in the trees is a whole bunch of little probably huts or homes or something. Most of them have walls that are not made of wood but are wrapped bundles of vines and leaves and things like that. It's like thatching all the way around to camouflage it into the tree a little bit. It's not that great, but you see everything kind of wrapped up there. But there's so much built into the top of this tree that the tree is actually bending over. It's a big tree with a big canopy, but you see it actually bending, and part of the canopy is so low to the ground that it's only like what should be probably a 100 or 200 foot tall tree is bent over till the canopy is like 10 feet above the ground, if that. Like it's been bent over in this almost like comical fashion. With just how much stuff has been put into the trees, how much is weighing it down. It's unclear if this was like if this has been building up as the tree was growing, and so it's kind of grown its trunk in this direction, or what it is. And there's just goblins everywhere. You see some of them posted around the outside, or the ones closest to you are wearing more of those masks. You can see them patrolling with either little spears or ikilwas or short bows, keeping an eye out kind of all around the clearing. But further in, you see tons of goblins moving around, little families, little up and down in the trees. The ones on the ground seem to are tending the fires. They've got cooking going on, things like that. You can smell some smells of cooking meats and things wafting from it. And up in the trees, you don't see any fires, but there's lots of activity going on up there. Who knows exactly what the goblins are doing? But this looks like a veritable village. Cloth making and things like that going on up in the jungle, up in the tree. None of the goblins seem to have noticed you yet, other than those that were pacing you. Or if they have, they're not approaching or anything, or acknowledging that they've seen you necessarily. But you're just kind of on the edge of this clearing in a thick, dense forest looking in. And all of you can see this. I was just saying Tenzien was kind of the first one to cut in.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Tenzien just motions like, we're here!
What do the goblins in the trees do once we arrive at the village?
I don't think I was giving you guys a moment. You haven't announced your presence yet. So, oh, not in the big tree, in the ones that were pacing you.
Yeah.
For the moment, they're kind of just watching you still, trying to see what you guys are going to do.
Can I try to walk up to them and see if they speak like common or thieves can't or anything like that?
You're going to try and approach the ones in the trees.
Yeah, just call out to them. Not necessarily get within like striking distance, but just like call out.
Okay. So you try to inch a little closer and you call out to them. And the one you could just kind of barely make them out because you guys are kind of stealthing on each other. So it's like they're there, but they're kind of obscured by some of the tree leaves and things like that are hanging. They tense a little bit, but they don't respond. It's hard to make out expressions behind their masks. What are you calling out to them?
Just honestly asking them, do they speak common or any other languages, or if they know someone who does? Like, hey, do you speak common?
The ones in the trees, no, they don't respond. You see them tense a little bit, but they're actually not acknowledging that you spoke to them.
Well, that's fucking rude. Well, Smoke will then just hop down to the rest of the group and say, the ones in the trees that were following us these last couple days are rude as hell, and I'm going to assume they don't speak common. So what do you guys want to do?
If I don't have to interact with them, that would be completely fine.
I'm gonna say, Smoke, you think you could get in there and get eyes on what we need and get out and let us know where we need to go?
I can certainly try, but I feel like our friends in the trees are going to have an issue with me sneaking around in there.
Surprised you haven't killed them already.
They weren't hostile. I was following them while they followed us to see if they wanted anything, but we can go back into the woods and try to take them out if you want.
Whatever.
And what is our objective at this camp?
Yeah, guys, what are you doing here?
I'm disappearing.
We're here because we believe maybe the amulet might be here.
The what?
The control amulet for a giant golem in the woods.
A giant golem, you say? Fascinating.
Do we even know what this amulet?
Oh, Katie, you're cutting in and out.
Oh, do we even know what this amulet looks like?
You do. The wizard's journal that you had, that was the inception of all this, had a crude drawing of it. It's kind of a small circular amulet. Based on the scale of the drawing, you would guess it's supposed to be maybe 2 or 3 inches wide, or two or 3 inches in diameter. It's got a couple of arcane symbols carved into the face of it. The drawing is just done with pen, so there's no indication if there's colors to it or anything like that, or what the material of it might be. But you do have like a pen drawing from the wizard's journal of what it should look like.
My money's on the chieftain has it.
Thank you.
Same. And if we're going to try and go with the stealth option first, it's always good to have a backup plan if the first plan goes wrong. And she proceeds to take off the long cylindrical case that's on her back and opens it, revealing a very intricate. You can tell that it's like a steel cylindrical barrel with like a wood stock. And as she perhaps loads it and gets a shot ready.
So you made a gun.
That's a very interesting backup plan. My backup plan was, and I slapped Tenzin on the back. This.
Let the barbarian go rage.
Tenzin just kind of flexes a little bit, like, oh.
I am going to attack one of the people in the trees.
What?
The ones that were following us, not the people that are minding their own business.
Would have been nice to know where they were at, so I could have had my bow out to shoot them. But okay.
I would have told you guys. I'm not gonna like follow people randomly for days on end and not like give you guys updates on where they are. Plus, I just came down to ask what the plan was, and you were like, "I'm surprised we haven't attacked him yet." And I was like, "Good point. Fair enough. Let's do it." And I disappeared.
Well, if we're going to try to remain quiet so we don't alert the rest of the village, she switches back to her crossbow.
Do I get advantage on my attack, Nathan? You did not hit the button.
Still muted in Discord. There you go.
Can you guys see the screen I just loaded?
Nope.
Or is it all black?
No.
All black. Do not have a token.
Okay, I'm gonna do smoke first because I can see her screen. Zoom out for me, Jenny. Excellent. Yoink and yoink. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Oh, I was expecting a much bigger city.
I said 100 feet across canopy.
No, I understand that, but I was expecting like more. I was expecting more in the 100 feet, I guess.
Yeah, and using goblins from where she
okay.
is
About
from.
70, but yeah.
Can I do a survival check to gauge like how many goblins we could be dealing with?
I think it's just
By
two that was following us.
Well, in the rest of the village.
Okay. Let's see. The
Wait a second. I
Pause.
think I know where this is on the river.
number of goblins. Yeah, make a survival check.
Survival?
Yeah.
Professor, do you want me to lend you aid so you can so we can make the most accurate assumption?
Sure.
So based on smoke, I'll get to you in a sec. Sorry. Based on what you're assuming are probably sleeping areas up in the tree, how many you could see from here, kind of extrapolating from that, how many goblins you see roaming around, you're guessing there might be something like anywhere from 60 to 100 goblins live here. But it doesn't seem like they're all here right now. There's probably about 30, maybe 40 goblins here right now. And you also notice a number, it's not necessarily all adults either. You see a lot of children scattered around and things like that. There's the guards kind of watching the perimeter, that kind of thing. But most of the goblins wandering around inside aren't actually carrying any weapons or anything right now. But the numbers are high.
So this tree stump here directly in front of us?
Sure. What about it?
Looks like it's got a rope wrapped around it.
Yeah, there's lots of sorry, that was earlier in the description, but there's lots of pulleys and ropes and things like that. That's not the only one. There's lots of ropes hanging down for getting up and down inside the tree, for hauling things up, elevating it up into the tree, that kind of thing. So that, I think, is a rope that, yeah, it attaches up to the tree.
That's pretty intricate for goblins.
Oh, and this is the green meshing and things like that. You can actually see a lot of that. It's kind of laid out around the whole village. It gives them like a bit of an artificial turf. They've got it's not just like a string of bridges from branch to branch going from thing to thing. It's like they've actually laid out a whole kind of tarp and canopy for them. It's something that wouldn't work for a city of humans or elves or whatnot, but for these lightweight goblins, they can actually get away with kind of making natural tarping and giving themselves like a platform up above.
I feel like we could probably just go in and barter for it and be done. What do goblins like this want?
Are you saying this before or after I disappear?
Probably after you disappear, because I haven't processed you disappeared yet.
Yeah, in the meantime,
Smoke, make another stealth check.
In addition to the 20?
Wasn't that your last roll?
No.
No, it was a 13 was your last roll. I see.
Christina walks over to Gerald and places a hand on the young knight's soldier and says, Sir Knight, that may your courage be a bulwark of the party. And then her hand glows.
Bulwark.
And I am casting heroism.
Thank you.
Now, keep in mind, heroism only lasts for a minute.
It
So
only lasts a minute. I thought it took a minute to cast.
no, it casts an action. It takes like less than 6 seconds. It's one action to cast, but then it lasts for a minute.
Well, okay.
So are you
keep...
casting that and then charging in to go kill somebody? Or
I misread the spell. So.
Gotcha.
Oh,
You
duration.
don't have to cast it. Yeah, you can take it back if you want to, but just want to let you know it's not a long-lasting thing.
Yep, I realize that now. But yeah, she just lets go of the young knight soldier and goes back to handling her crossbow.
Gerald will just look at her and be like, oh okay. Weird.
All right, Smoke. So rather than continuing to converse, you're like, I'm just gonna go shank somebody.
That feels
No.
on par for Smoke.
No. What I will do
Thank
is I will use my stealth to get closer to the village. I understand I'm walking through an open field, but I am a cat, and so I will do my best.
Okay.
A cat in full armor.
Okay. As you make your way into the village, there's... Sorry, I haven't laid down tokens for everything yet. I will if a fight breaks out. I just haven't. You see... Actually, make me a perception check while you're doing this, Smoke. Okay. You're able to snake your way past some of the little guards there, dodging out into a bush. The rest of the party's having this little conversation, and you just kind of dart off towards the village. As you run past, you see some large dirt mounds piled up around. I think on the artist map here we have 3 of them. So these big dirt mounds. As you're kind of running past this one, and it's like 10 feet across at the base, and they go up. They stand like 8 feet high, like these big mounds of dirt that are just 3 times, 4 times your size. And as you're kind of looking at it, going, "What in the world is that?" You see it's like shifting slightly. It's moving. Pausing to take a closer look, you realize it's just covered in ants. This is like a massive anthill.
That's disgusting.
Hard pass.
I'm
Not a
getting
fan.
Indiana Jones vibes.
Yeah, these aren't like D&D giant insect shit. This is just normal ants, just covered in, hundreds of thousands of them.
More rules.
And you see 2 more of these anthills scattered around the area. What's up?
Do we see him, or does only Smoke?
You can kind of make out these dirt mounds, but Smoke, having actually gone up kind of near it, can see the ants on it. And is like, no. She's kind of darting in past some of the guards, trying to get closer into the camp. You see, what is that? No, that's fine. As you make your way in, you can start to see some like there's a large wooden cage here. There's nothing in it though. It's just standing there next to a bunch of other supplies piled up. Off in the far side over there, there's a big kind of lean-to tent that has goblins going in and out of it. When they go in, they're carrying like fish they've pulled out of the river and things like that. It might be some sort of larder, maybe. Hard to make out from this distance. And let's see. And yeah, just lots of goblins up in the trees, going about life.
Do I see anything that would make me think it's like hinting at a place of worship or something like that? Or even like a treasury? Like, do I see any like more official, like, I don't know.
More ornate, like shacks.
Something like
Sure.
that.
It'd be hard to tell if there's any. Well, you're not seeing down here any shrines. You're not sure if there might be something up in the tree itself, but maybe one of those little huts is a shrine or something. You're not seeing any shrines down here. However, now that you're up a little closer, you're able to take a look at and watching the pattern of some of the goblins moving about. At least the ones on the ground as they're going about. You see them coming up fishing from the river and things like that. Some of them are cooking at various campfires. And you spot one of them as you're getting a good look as he's hauling a bundle of sticks towards the fire. You see around his neck is an amulet. Around his neck is the like your mind instantly goes, that's the control amulet right there. It's kind of got a dark brownish color to it. You see some strange symbols carved into the face of it. And it's just strung on a leather cord around his neck. And as you're watching, tracking him, going, well, shit, that was easy. There's the amulet. He goes and starts speaking with another goblin, and you see that goblin also has an amulet on. Looks very similar. And you see a couple of the slight discrepancies, and as you're looking at other ones, you realize it's like painted wood. But the symbols on it, the size, the shape, the everything about it exactly matches the description from the book. It seems like, except for the warriors, well, about half the warriors, but it seems like most of the goblins down here are all wearing the control amulet.
I will, before proceeding further, I will scurry back and inform the group of what I have found.
Okay, one more stealth for the hell of it. Fantastic. You scurry back out to the tree. And you find them there discussing the length of spells.
Excellent. I will let the group know, and I will share my theory of it possibly being some kind of religious icon or something of importance, and I doubt we'll be able to trade to get the real one.
That's a shame.
So are we just murder hoboing the entire village?
I mean, we could also wait for the cover of night and try to sneak in and take it.
So you mean you sneak in and take it, because my ass
There
ain't
it is.
sneaky.
I can bring Tenzin with me. I'm sure he's sneaky, right?
Oddly enough, decently.
Oh my god.
That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like success.
Me and
Yeah, +2.
Tenzin. It'll be great.
Yeah,
It'll be
+2. That's
fantastic.
not good.
It'll be fine.
What could go wrong?
Until Tenzin rolls a nat 1.
Right? No, knowing my luck, I'd roll the nat 1. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, what do you guys think? What kind of steps do you want to take?
Oh, I guess we can. Do we have any range abilities besides my bow and my rifle?
I have a short bow. And I think the professor has a long bow.
I do, and I was just thinking, let's trade the jug. Let's see if we can trade the jug for the amulet.
Tenzin like grips the jug like, "Rah!" And like as he's holding on to it, you see him like put his mouth up to one thing and he pours out some beer into his mouth.
And because this bartering for a holy icon is not going to be easy unless we want to make a fake one and say that one is fake and it's just a real icon.
I mean, here's the
Come on.
thing. We can try to barter for it, but what do we do when they say no? What's the backup here?
We say thank you, we
lose
leave and
the
come in back.
element of surprise.
I was going to say, we say thank you, we leave, and we come in under the murder of night. That's right, I said murder of night.
I was about to say, so you want to kill everybody in their sleep? That's the route we're going.
Kill you in the night.
Choke you in your night.
Nighty night,
We
sweet
can
prince.
also cause a wildfire.
Whoa.
Let's not deforest Cholt. What? Also, you guys see those mounds everywhere? Those are full of ants.
Maybe we could release the ant, get the ants to go attack them.
How are we going to do that?
I could talk to them.
You want to go talk to some ants? We can totally do it.
Tenzin will make like the symbol of like fire burning like on the end of a torch and then motions towards shoving it into the mounds.
I think before we do anything aggressive, we need to address our two friends that have been following us.
Fair enough.
One quick thing before we move on. Professor, could you make me a intelligence check, please? Just straight intelligence.
Oh, can I talk to it? Or would it be beneficial to talk to it? It's probably not. Oh, that's a saving throw. Whatever. You take
Okay.
off.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's flat.
You're not proficient in intelligence, are you?
No.
Cool.
Just Constitution, Dexterity, and Strength. It looks like.
No, 14's enough. I just want to throw out for you. This is the second group of goblins you've seen since you've gotten to the jungle.
Mhm.
The first one was back at the shrine. The ones at the shrine had their masks painted to be large carnivores. So there was a like a crocodile mask and a panther mask and things like that. Goblins here are also wearing masks, but these masks are very different. You see, basically every mask is decorated and painted to be some sort of to resemble an insect head, like mostly ants is how they're painted. It kind of gives them this rounded gold shapes are the preferred paints there. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Fuck.
This looks very different mask choices than the goblins that you fought before. So it could be a tribal thing. It's hard to tell. You're still not quite sure what the pattern is here on mask choice.
Yeah.
But none of these masks are anywhere close to similar to the ones you saw in those other goblins, other than the fact that they're wooden masks. Yeah. Just throwing that out there. Sorry, as you were.
I think we should at least approach from somewhere and see if they're friendly with air quotes.
Okay.
But
we
I
can probably make replicas of their masks.
Nah. We'll just go in as we are. They'll know we're not goblins, so. And we don't know the symbolism of the mask. It could be denoting them as from a specific clan, so.
Yeah. But if the masks look like ants and there are ants in these mounds, I'm willing to bet this is the goblin ant tribe, and the other one's probably the goblin raptor tribe or something.
Well, let's go try to talk to some people then.
I think only one or two of us should go, as to give the party a chance to either come in and fight or run away.
I vote Gerald is one of them. Surprisingly enough, he is the most charismatic out of all of us.
I am absolutely for that, because I am not charismatic.
Tenzin kind of taps his chest, like he'll go along with whoever.
The bathroom's over there.
He'll smack the professor upside the head.
With his mayonnaise-covered fingers.
And then he'll dip his finger in mayonnaise and then try and smear it in the professor's face. It's like,
just watch out for the glossy leaves, okay?
Good grief. All right. Gerald, are you down to go? Or do you want someone else to go?
Gerald is returning to their seat. They had to put on a kigurumi.
I don't speak German. What is that?
Don't worry about it. Gerald's good at it.
You've been volunteered, Gerald, for speaking to the goblins.
Can I roll a perception check to find like a good vantage point, like
Sure.
of the village?
Yeah. Roll me a roll me like an investigation. Okay.
Hey, you got connected.
I did.
It did. Very nice. So what is the sorry, Christina, I will get you in a moment. What is the approach here? Are you guys just pushing Gerald out of the bushes and making him walk up and say hi? Or are we spreading out around? It looks like Christina's gonna maybe dart off along the edge of the clearing to find a better vantage point.
I think the goal is to try to be diplomatic first. And if they don't seem like they want to trade for the real deal, then
Grab
we
it and
come
run?
back under cover of night.
Or Smoke could just grab it and run.
I could do that. But then we'd have a whole village of goblins chasing us. In broad daylight.
Actually, I would like to, before we do anything, I'd like to ask Eku if she knows anything about these masks that we've seen so far about the goblins.
She tells you that she doesn't know the lore itself or the intricate workings. She has noticed that different tribes wear different masks, different animals, that kind of thing.
And then do the
It's a
tribes,
part of her. It's a part of their culture. She's never really been able to pierce through.
has she noticed if the tribes have different temperaments?
Oh, sure. Yeah. The ones they're all they all tend to be somewhat territorial, especially against other goblin tribes.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that are closer to the coast, or to where people venture into the jungle, tend to be a little less defensive against outsiders, a little more open to trade, because you can get a lot of good shit through trade, it turns out. They're not civilized, but they the ones that are this far north are probably a little safer to approach than a tribe that'd be deep in the jungle or deep in the peninsula.
Okay, I figured
I hope that made sense.
Yeah, I figured I'd do a quick just mental test to be like,
your odds are better here.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Or at least your odds are non-zero.
You're telling me there's a chance?
There's a chance. Okay. Gerald.
What do you think they would want? And maybe we can get you stacked up before you go in.
I'll say, what's your approach here? Walking out, sword drawn, threat the first guy in front of you? What's...
No sword drawn. I'm gonna walk out just with I'm gonna actually hold a piece of gold in my hand and see if that gets their attention.
Take the jug.
Tenzin will be a couple feet behind Gerald.
Why am I taking the jug?
If you try to take it from him, Tenzin's gonna slap your hand away.
The professor proposed trading the jug for the control amulet.
Well, I'm gonna try gold first. So, yeah, I'm just gonna walk forward and have a piece of gold in my hand.
Okay. As Gerald comes stepping out of the trees, shield slung to her side, glittering chainmail, marked with a little bit of blood, but you see four. You see four goblins in front of you, with small weapons in their hands, little equalaws or similar, couple of short bows. They're standing at attention, kind of looking around. They've been chit-chattering with each other a little bit, and they see you approach, and they quickly lower their weapons, but nobody's charging or approaching you. It's they just kind of lower it and watch you approach. And one of them kind of chatters at you real quick, but it's in a language you don't understand.
Cool. So Gerald's gonna wave and set the gold piece down on the ground in front of him and make a motion towards the amulet that the one that's speaking to him is wearing.
Nathan, you're muted.
The goblin's kind of looking down, looking at the weapon in his hand, going, "What is that?" You know, it's kind of eyeing at you. Sees the gold. A couple of the goblins kind of look at each other, and And then slowly, like, two of them put their weapons up and start to approach. The other two are standing back a little further. And they walk up to the gold piece and kind of, one of them picks it up, kind of looks at it. He's got it held out in front of him, between index finger and thumb, just kind of holding it up, looking at it. Looks at you, chatters something else in the strange kind of goblin tongue. But seems curious, kind of motioning to you. And then he kind of, he's still kind of watching you for signs of danger or anything. He doesn't seem to have realized what you were motioning at. I'll throw that. Like, you said you were trying to motion at his holy symbol, but or at his amulet, I guess. But he seems to have just taken it as a motion at all of himself. He's kind of looking at the gold, going, "More, yes," and hold out the coin like back towards the village, just like, "Going to village? Yes, you to village." What do you think of Gerald?
Gerald will nod and slowly take a step forward, but he'll also take out his own holy symbol, which is also an amulet, from around his neck, and kind of hold it out and then point towards the gold and then point to him.
And the goblin kind of looks down, seeing that he comes up and the buddy is standing back now. So the two goblins further back that had kind of kept their weapons pointed are kind of relaxing a little bit now that there's not an immediate scuffle. The third one is kind of standing there at the side. He'd approached, and the fourth one that you're interacting with, he comes up and he kind of looks closer at the symbol you're showing him. Kind of flips it over. What is your symbol made of, by the way? Is it a metal?
It's a silver amulet.
Silver amulet? Okay. Kind of looks like flips it over and then holds up his own. Goes, "Oh, no." And he starts trying to scrub at your amulet like he's trying to take the symbol off of it. Like, no, this is wrong. You can see in his face, he's just like, no. It's clearly not working, trying to scrub the symbol off of the face of a silver metal amulet. But and he's like, no. And he takes the amulet off of his head and goes, "Yeah, here, this." And you see him taking the one hand, kind of pointing at it vigorously. No, do this symbol. No.
Seeing it a little closer, I can tell that it's not the true amulet that we're looking for, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's a dark wood amulet. The whole thing seems wooded. It does also seem somewhat painted, where it's got like a silver band around the outside. It almost looks like it has like a metallic or like a metal ring around the outside, except it's not actually metal. It's just like a gray paint that's been done to it, and the sigils that are drawn on the face of it are painted on as well. Let me see if I have a picture of that for you. But sorry, continue.
So I guess I'll just try talking to him. I know he won't really probably understand what I'm saying, but I'll just kind of say, like, "Hey, we're looking for like this shiny necklace.
Gotcha.
Like mine, but different."
There in Discord, I posted a picture of what an amulet would look like. So in your wizard's journal, you have just a black and white, just a pen drawing of this. And the goblins around their necks are wearing these, but you can clearly see that instead of an actual riveted metal circle, it's just paint. That's what they have.
Okay. Are we slowly walking like towards the village now?
Yeah, actually, he seems to want to drag you inward. After comparing holy symbols, he seems to be shaking his head just like he's clearly relaxed now, and he's shaking his head like a stupid tourist kind of a thing, and a kind of expression, and kind of grabs you and starts grabs the I guess, yeah, like around your wrist or something, and starts trying to drag you into the village. Towards it, walk you towards it. Not in a prisoner way, but he's exasperated at your symbol, and it's like, come. We go get you a new one. You know.
Okay, yeah, I will happily come with him into the village.
Tenzin will like keep pace behind.
So you're coming out of the tree cover?
Well, yeah, I was behind him anyway. Like I was like here-ish.
Oh, you had come up. I thought we sent Gerald in alone. Oh, I didn't realize Tenzin went up too. Okay. Well, for the sake of this, let's say Gerald had stepped forward a couple of feet or something, and so the inertia was mostly there. But yeah, as they start dragging him forward, assuming your weapon is put away, they don't really. They're eyeing you, but it's just another person. You have weapons, but so do they. It's like we're not being hostile here. And the rest of you from the tree line see Gerald and Tenzin being led up towards the tree there. Any reactions this time, or just letting them go?
Professor's letting him go. Waiting to hear like a scream or something.
Cool. As you're
is this a hill that is like 4 blocks to the north of the professor?
That?
Yeah.
Well, the tree line is where you guys are is actually technically off the map. This is just kind of the big clearing, but you guys are actually still in the jungle, so to speak. There's like the trees have been cut back a little ways, and there's a hard line where the tree line stops, and you guys are still tucked in that.
Okay. Do I see any reaction from the guys that were in the trees following us?
No, they seem to just be kind of watching you guys. They haven't made any hostile motions thus far. They've been watching you guys for a couple hours now, and they didn't make any objection to Gerald and Tenzin walking up into the village.
Okay. And are they wearing ant masks as well, or are they wearing different masks?
The ones in the trees, yes, they're wearing the ant style masks as well. So Gerald, Tenzin, as you two are led up towards the village, you start to see some of the same things that I described to Smoke earlier. Just getting the full view of these massive anthills that are built up like 7-8 feet tall. You can kind of see the swarming ants on their surfaces. Right now, there's probably about 15 or so goblins that are on the ground, milling about, doing various things, cooking, mending, etc. And they start to lead you over towards the far side over here, like way over here, where you see a big tent set up. There's like provisions and things you can kind of make out on the inside of the tent just looking in through the open doorway. Baskets and barrels and things like that filled with fish and other meats. One or two of the goblins going in and out as they cook things or catch fresh. And two of the goblins stay put at the edge to maintain their watch, while the two of them walk with you inside the village, or in towards the village. The one who was dragging you kind of lets go and scurries into their little tent here quick, and then he comes back out carrying one of these symbols, one of these control amulets, and like shoves it in your hand and goes to take your silver amulet so he can just like toss it somewhere. He like seems very disparaging of it, but he goes to like just take it from you and put the other one in your hand.
Oh, well, no. So Gerald will smile and laugh while kind of shaking his head, but he'll accept the goblin's amulet and because I haven't taken my amulet off.
Sure, of course. He tries to take it, but I'm not saying he grabs it.
Yeah. So I would quickly tuck my silver amulet back under my armor and then let the goblin's amulet hang freely in front of my armor.
You're gonna pounce at you a little bit. Yeah. He's kind of making noises. Talking to one of the other goblins near him. But they seem to let it slide. It's like, wearing the control amulet. And as you are, well, not talking, but as you're interacting, completely surrounded by people that don't speak your language, including Tenzien, you... he's really good at miming, turns out, with the goblins. Mostly Clary.
Yeah, and like that's what I'll be doing. Like I'll kind of like hand mime because I'm used to hand miming quite a bit, and just do it like that. That's why I'm useful here.
You see a number of the elevators, the pulleys, and ropes and things that are attached to the tree. Every now and then you guys would see a goblin go up or come down one or something. And right now you see about 2 or 3 of the little elevators being lowered down to the ground with some goblins on them. And there's one who's wearing like a much more elaborate getup. Has the mask on, has a bunch of decorative paint across their skin, down their arms. Seems slightly hunched or kind of lithe, with a large gnarled staff, accompanied by a couple of other goblins as well. And this one comes stepping down into the onto the ground level. And all of them on the elevator are just like staring at you. A couple of other goblins are coming down as well. They don't look like, well, they're not wearing masks. They're not armed or armored or anything like that. Some of them have different decorative paint and things like that, but mostly they just look like workers or things like that. Coming down to see who these outsiders are, see who these newcomers are.
Gerald will smile and wave at all of them. Not like an aggressive wave, but a nice, like, slow wave.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Exactly that.
There's some artwork of the more heavily decorated goblin that just came down.
Nice.
And this goblin kind of wanders over towards your direction. Not wandering, but like hobbles over, I guess is the better word. Slower pace. Got the stick. And she mutters a couple things at the goblins that were escorting you, and they chatter back and forth, and she's kind of eyeing the control amulet symbol that is around your neck, around your waist. Would you tie it off? It doesn't matter.
I put it around my neck.
Around your neck. Okay. And I get looking back and forth, chattering a little bit, and then she turns to you and she starts speaking in common.
Oh,
This one. What is your name, child?
my name is Gerald Kufburt, and I am here with my traveling company. We were actually in search for this amulet that everyone seems to be wearing here.
I'm sorry, total side note. Since when is your name Cuthbert? Have you ever said that out loud?
My last name has always been Kufburt.
Alrighty then. Sorry, that just caught me totally off guard.
The whole time.
I didn't even think you had a last name.
I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and
It's
so I was
just
like,
boy.
hey.
Boy. Anyway.
Boy,
I'm so sorry. You said you were hunting for that amulet.
yeah.
Ah. So you worship the statue as well. Good. This is good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I am a devotee of faith.
Hmm. Is it... Well, have you come for trade then? Typically the humans through here trade. Not saying you must, but we do so love new things. New
What would you be
changes.
interested in?
Well, shiny is always good. But food is good too. So much work keeping everyone fed.
I can understand that. I have something I may be willing to trade, but I would need a moment to discuss it with my companion here. Would you grace us a moment?
Trade Tenzien.
No,
Uh,
don't make me. Don't make me do this.
Do it.
Oh,
Are you trading
Strike
Tenzin?
him down in anger and he'll become stronger.
Yeah. Yes, child. What? You came all the way out here just for a symbol?
it's pretty important for the journey that we're on right now.
Well, a worshiper of and she says a name in Goblin that doesn't seem to translate in your head. It's like Uthakan or something. With a little click in there. Uthakan. And but she says any worshiper of Uthakan is welcome here. Well, not too long. We don't need your bright, shiny carapace attracting too many predators, but we do like trade.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your hospitality.
Well, decide what you want for trade. I don't think too many of my compatriots here speak your tongue, so come find me if you need me. They all know me. Just say Grobstab, and that's my name, Queen Grobstab. So come find me if you want. Now, excuse me, I'm going to go get a meal. And she starts to wander behind you towards the fire that's set up over there, where there's a couple of goblins working at cooking some fish and things like that.
Cool.
But
Gerald will...
she moves past you to leave you alone to talk. You do have 2 goblins remaining. The 2 that escorted you into the camp, they do kind of keep a respectful distance back, but they are standing there, still sort of as an escort.
Okay. As she passes, Gerald will not fully like bow, but he'll kind of like, nod his head and say thank you as she passes, and then turn to Tenzin and be like, I'm sorry, but we need to let go of the jug.
He grips it super hard and kind of holds it.
Buddy, I'm sorry, but we need this amulet. We have to trade it.
You can see him, he kind of takes a little bit longer of a look. He uncorks the beer one and just starts downing as much as he can. And he'll probably spend a solid 2 minutes just chugging. It's all going down. It's dripping off the sides. And then once he's kind of he coughs and hands it over. Very sad like.
Thank you. Gerald will take the jug. Do we have to speak like a... I don't remember as a player. Do we have to like speak a word to it for it to make whatever we want?
I don't think so. I think it's just set things for different...
It has different spouts, I think.
Yeah, it was each spout gave you something different.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll get you a picture of it, but yeah, there's different corks.
Yeah, I remember what it looks like. I just didn't remember if we had to like specify what we wanted when we like uncorked it or something.
You can flavor it that way if you'd like. But no, I'm not going to make you remember it as a player.
Cool.
Just for ease of play.
Okay, so Gerald will take the jug and walk over to the fire where Queen, whatever her name was, is at.
Crab stab.
Crab stab, thank you. And he will approach with jug in hand and say, Queen Crabstab, this is what I would like to trade to you for the amulet.
And for the amulet? But you already have the amulet.
I am seeking the real amulet.
Her eyes kind of pause. She pauses and kind of knows in the real amulet.
I am assuming it would be entrusted to your care as you are the higher power in this village.
You think you are worthy of Utak's love, such that you might carry his symbol, his relic?
I would like to try.
Come, walk with me. She kind of sets down what she was eating, and you see her start to make just a slow, mosey southward kind of. And as we continue talking, she's just moving at a very slow pace and curving around the tree, kind of a thing.
Okay, I walk with her.
But come, walk with me. And she kind of looks at you, turns her head to the side, kind of looking at you as you walk, and turns and looks at Tenzin.
He is very sullen. He's very sad. He's giving this up.
Gerald, you're still holding the jug, by the way. They didn't take it from your hands or anything.
I'm still holding the jug.
Gotcha. Or Tenzin's still holding it, or someone's. I don't care. But as you two are walking, it's like, no. Actually, Gerald, have me make a. I'm gonna have you make a persuasion check just to have just to check in on the conversation so far.
Oh no,
okay.
I don't even have a +5.
Okay, no, that's fine. As you guys are walking, she starts to. Well, she initially starts out by just kind of pointing out little things here in the village. It's like an old, just a rambling old woman pointing, not getting to the point, you know. Showing a couple things about the village as if you're some honored guest and not someone that just wandered in and she just met, you know. And she's telling you a little about the village and tells you about the funny goblin over there, and goes all and eventually tells you, you know, these are blessings from the Uktak. These are the things that he protects this region. He protects us. He protects all of his followers. And he has for many years. We here at the Biting Ant tribe are the guardians of his relic. Or at least this relic. Now, as far as I am aware, the relic, if she kind of looks around, just seeing which other goblins are in the vicinity. There's 2 other following, but it was the 2 that were helping you before that didn't seem to speak common. So she's kind of looking at them going, yeah. Truth be told, the amulet, the symbol doesn't seem to do anything. It's just a symbol, but it is, of course, it's very shiny. But it is rather dear to the people here. What we could use is something with more substance, something that could aid the village in either protection or supplies or food or things like that. But even with that for trade, I do not believe I will be able to trade this to someone not of the Biting Ant tribe.
And if I
therefore,
were to become part of the tribe, would that be a possibility?
Well, that would work out wonderfully, wouldn't it? That might be able to be arranged. We have this wonderful ceremony here when a goblin earns their grows of age and earns their mask. We could put you through the trial.
They're going to marry you off.
But we get ahead of ourselves. What do you have for trade? Do you have for trade? Something that might aid the village?
Yes, it will help with drink supply. Is it just drink, Nathan, or is it like any kind of like?
There's
Like,
bayonets and
obviously,
poisons and stuff in it as well.
But
It's not any kind of liquid, but there's a large selection of liquids. It helps. It can produce different amounts depending on the liquid, or different amounts per day. But it can produce like acid, a basic poison, beer, honey, mayonnaise, oil. It's a common thing to use this for, like lamp oil, vinegar, fresh water, salt water, wine,
Acid.
acid. Yeah, there's a whole list of things it can produce. It's not any liquid you can think of, but it's a substantial number.
okay, cool.
It's like a dozen, 10 or 12 different liquids.
Gotcha. So I'll just relay to her. I'll hold out the jug and say, "This is an alchemy jug. We had to go through a trial of our own to be able to achieve it, and it can, produce these different types of liquids up to X amount per day. So it can help protect you. It can help nourish you in your tribe." And I think it would be worthy in your hands.
You definitely have her attention here. Make me another persuasion check. Okay. She's kind of eyeing it, and she contemplates for a bit, staring at the jug. It's hard to read what's behind her eyes as she's staring at it. And then she reaches inside of her cloak that's pulled over the back, the furs that are pulled tight, and pulls out a necklace, which you can see this amulet, despite having a wooden center, clearly has some sort of shiny sheen over it. So it's been glossed or protected, sealed. It has a sealant on it, and the metal band around the outside is actually metal instead of paint. And you can see she's wearing this one. She kind of looks at it contemplatively, and goes, Yes, that would help the village. As I said, in order to not cause an uproar or a war with the Panther tribe, yes, you would. I would not be able to trade this except to a member of our tribe. So, if you wish to perhaps go through the trial, through the ceremony, we might be able to make this trade. But yes, I think that we can make that happen. Just don't tell them what we did. Just kind of nodding to the guards that are following behind.
You have my promise. What do I have to do for this ceremony?
Come. Well, I don't know that this would be able to be completed immediately. It's typically preceded by a night of meditation and contemplation of what's to come, but like I said, it's kind of a coming-of-age ceremony for the young goblins before they become warriors. Sort of an initiation, and they earn their mask and whatnot. Let me see how quickly the trial could be arranged for. You would have to prove yourself worthy to the biting ants and be judged by them.
Okay.
And she starts to wander off away from you, back towards the tree, with no further explanation.
I guess she's gonna, or Gerald will follow behind her.
As she reaches towards the location where one of the elevators is to take herself up into the tree, she says, well, just wait here a moment. I'm going to confer and find out how quickly we could arrange for a trial to be prepared. Wait here,
Okay.
wait here.
Sure thing.
And she turns to one of the goblins behind you, the two that have been flanking you, and mutters something to them in actual goblin. They kind of chatter back and forth at each other really briefly, before she turns to you and says, "Are you hungry?"
Yeah, I could eat.
Then she kind of nods and motions with the back of her hand and just goes, well then, go, take it, get yourself something to eat. They will provide you a meal. And kind of nods the two of them. And the two flanking guards kind of turn expectantly as if to lead you back towards this fire area. Yeah.
Okay, I'll follow them back to the fire and happily partake in whatever food they give me.
Those of you out in the trees have just kind of been watching this whole thing go down, seeing Gerald and Tenzin speaking with some elderly goblin as they walk through the camp and then walk and wander around. Gerald is holding the alchemy jug for some reason. But other than that, what are you thinking? How is this changing the people outside the camp?
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
I pull an apple out of my pocket and start
hello.
eating it.
Smoke is really curious, but also like exceedingly bored. So really, she's just gonna try to mess with the goblins that are up in the tree and just sit really close to him.
Okay. roll me a stealth if you would. Okay. Sometimes you get a little closer to them, and then they move away, and other times they see you coming before you approach. It's kind of an odd kind of back and forth as you guys like circle around the trees ever so slowly.
Perfect. That's exactly what I want.
They seem content to keep doing it. All right.
Slice my arm up. Why would you do this?
Let me pull up something here real quick. Actually, this is perfect timing. Here, you guys can all chat with Zach for a moment while I look up something.
Hi, Zach.
Hello, Zach.
Hi. Good.
So, to kind of catch you up on what's going on, we came across the goblins that we were
hang on,
tracking initially. Yeah.
We came across a new friend.
Oh, yeah. So, Zach, say hi to my brother, Chris. Chris, say hi to Zach.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, Zach.
How are you?
I am doing very well. Just on sentry duty, basically. Making sure nothing happens to the party.
All right. Which one are you?
I am Christina, the Artificer.
Ah.
With
Okay.
Gronk.
Gronk. Isn't that the name of that specific droid?
Yes.
It is.
Gotcha. All right. When did we pick you up?
At the start of the session.
Oh. Yelly
Yeah. So we found friend with construct, and then we found the goblins, and they have the amulet that we are looking for.
Well,
And
we were planning to murder goblins to find the amulet, and I was like, wait a second. Maybe we can trade for it. So now we're on the trade route.
yeah. And Gerald got pretty much nose-goed into going to go talk to the goblins, but it's going well so far. And I have spoken to Queen, I can't remember her name, something Crab.
Grab stab.
Queen Crabstab.
Grab.
Yes.
Like
And,
grasp.
Yeah. And I have offered to trade the alchemy jug for the amulet, but she could not agree to the trade unless it was to someone in the tribe. So Gerald has offered to go through the tribe ceremony as a coming of age to be able to join the Biting Ants clan.
I love this. We'll have an actual goblin in our party.
It's great, isn't it?
Well, a honorable goblin.
Yes.
Honorary.
A true polymorph will change that.
But depending, that could help us later on in the campaign too, as long as another goblin can speak common.
Nobody here knows goblin.
No.
Dang.
Nope, the leader of the goblins knows comment.
Lucky.
It was either that or your diplomat was going to be Tenzin. I was kind of open for it, but then I realized she speaks common, so.
I mean,
the master
Out
of
there.
Tenzin hand waves. He's got it, right?
We never would have had the opportunity to give them the jug, did?
No, because he would have been like, no one gets my jug. This is my jug.
Surprised you gave it up for Gerald. Impressed.
He's probably the only one he would have given it up for. Tenzin and the boy are tight. We're buddies.
Alrighty. Okay, so I guess I've figured it out where we are at and how we got here. What brings the Artificer to Chol? Is this getting tied into the robot we're looking for?
Really
Actually, real
bad
quick-
directions.
Actually, real quick, before we dive too far into that, I've caught up on what I need. Katie, I don't know how much more time you have on tonight's session. I know you said you might have to duck out early. So,
she's doing pretty okay. So I'll let you know if we need to wrap it from me.
yeah, I just want to make sure we, because you're front and center right now. So,
Yeah.
we'll come back to Artificer in just a moment. Sorry. So, after this takes maybe an hour and a half that you are sitting and waiting. Those of you outside the trees kind of watching this, you see smoke, or you see Tenzin and Gerald sit down with a couple of the goblins, and they're sharing with them fish and things like that. But otherwise, no activity. The one goblin just went back up the trees, and you're kind of watching, observing for danger. Smoke is above you, chasing a couple of goblins through the trees at a very slow pace. As she just invades their resting spot, and then they move on, and then she invades the next one. Gerald and Tenzin, you guys, you get offered some food. It's just some of the river carp. It's not exceptionally tasty. They're not apparently don't have much in the way of spices or things like that, but it does seem to be cooked all the way through, so that's something.
I eat every bite to make sure that I am showing my gratitude for being fed when she said that, it's hard to feed the entire village.
Tenzin will keep going over and opening up the mayonnaise spigot and just eating some of the mayonnaise spigot.
Getting all the calories while he can.
He loves it. It's his favorite thing. You're taking it away from him.
Ew.
I'm glad shit. Y'all offered it. But eventually she comes back down and says, yes, we could have this ready for this evening. The ceremonies typically take place at dusk. You'll present yourself to the ants, and then be blessed by the moonlight if you are successful.
Wonderful.
Oh.
May I gather the rest of my party so they may witness such an occasion?
Witness me.
You have more.
We do.
How far?
I didn't want them to all come in at once because I didn't want to, make anyone nervous. So we figured it would be best if I came with my companion here first before I introduced the rest of my traveling group to you.
Very well. Are they all as calm as you are? You two are.
I do have a feisty cat, but I promise she'll be on her best behavior.
Just don't try to rub it.
You do.
Tenzin kind of snorts at the calm behavior comment. I'm like,
Very well. She mutters something in Goblin to the two guards that were escorting you. And then she kind of nods, says preparations will be made. And looking at the sun, you could estimate it's maybe about 4 hours till sundown right now. But that's when she said the ceremony would be held at sundown. So
Okay.
Cool.
Then I
Um,
would like to go gather the rest of the party and kind of fill them in on what's going on and escort them back into the village.
Sure. And your escorts goes with you, the ones, and they speak to the guards on the edge of the camp, that kind of thing. And the party's somewhat welcomed in. Still, they're eyeing you. You're outsiders. You're heavily armed, but they let you into the camp.
I will most definitely keep all my weapons put away for the whole time we're in camp.
Yeah.
Grudgingly, Christina puts away her crossbow and she just has her hand on her rapier the entire time, but it is not drawn.
Okay. Fair enough.
As a cleric of peace, I am very pleased with this situation.
Hey, what do our friends in the trees do when we start going into the village?
Well, they don't follow you into the village. You see them kind of watch from there, but then as you guys step further in front of the village, it's kind of like you blink and you lose sight of them. So they faded back into the trees.
Before we go too far in, I'll leave a piece of Nanny Poo Poo's bone jewelry that I took. I'll leave like a little earring on one of the branches, and I'll follow the rest of the group.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it to you guys. Do you want Gerald's trial to happen right now? Is there stuff? Oh, did Zach connect and disconnect?
No,
That
I'm
must-
here unless something
Okay.
happened.
Oh, it was Jason.
Yeah, I lost audio altogether, so I had to switch channels and come back, and it came back. Go figure.
I mean, you guys can discuss Christina if you want to now that Zach's here. Quick recap.
I'm just glad to have another caster in the party.
I only have a very limited amount of spells.
It's better still than where we were at. We went from having a primary caster to like almost really no casters.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I don't have a whole lot of blasts or bursts. It's definitely something that I'm keeping in mind. Or offensive. I don't have a lot of offense.
Well, I'm gonna
spell
pop
that
out
I
so that way I
have-
can put him down.
Night, Katie.
Night,
Yeah,
Katie. I'm also gonna-
Bye, Katie.
Good night,
Bye.
Emma.
Does my mic sound better now?
Yes.
I'm also gonna dip. Everybody have a good weekend.
Bye, Danny.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.
kids.
Have good rest of your
Bye-bye.
Sunday.
Yeah, so I have mending, which is super useful in like maintaining equipment. If like, oh, corrosive damage against your armor, it falls apart.
Yeah, that'll be useful. I'm sure. I would not be surprised if Nathan's like, "Here you go."
Right.
Yeah, I also have heroism, shield, and then my second level spell is magic weapon.
Magic weapon. That's a good one. Especially
Spirit
at low
magic
level.
helmet.
So Zach,
Yes.
the party met her a little north of the Goblin Village.
Ah.
I just pulled you to the map. I don't know if you're logged in.
I see it.
And when you met her, it was just kind of a chance happening. Like you guys met at a watering hole, basically. But she mentioned she was trying to get to a city that had disappeared, a city called Mesro. And when you guys compared maps, you're like, whoa, Mesro is nowhere near here.
I zoomed out and saw it. And I'm like, oof.
So
Yeah.
that was what she told you. But your guys' map is way better than what she was having. So kind of sticking together for the moment.
All right. Well, do you know why we're at Cholt? I'm assuming that got covered with you.
Yes, you're hunting for a soul gathering artifact,
Yes.
or trying to find the source of the gathering souls that is interfering with resurrection.
Yes. Yeah, and that's bad. It's no bueno, especially if that spreads.
Yeah, so it's like she is offering her. She offered her services to the party and expertise. So, yeah, now I'm just tagging along.
And honestly, it's the perfect time. We're trying to find a construct. We ran into an artificer. It's fate.
Yeah, so she has a construct with her, actually. Kind of a boxy refrigerator with legs.
What's a refrigerator?
Gunk. Yep.
I used it as a standing map table.
Hey. Useful already. What does it do?
So
Gonk.
Oh.
Yeah, it's my pack meal slash. It also has the abilities from the steel defender, so it can interfere. It put disadvantage on melee fighters. It also
so imagine
has
if
a
Bark
force attack.
Wahlberg was a refrigerator instead of a wolf.
I love it though.
Same stat block, but it's a refrigerator. Yeah, it's great.
All right, I'm gonna stop the stream.
Sounds good. So yeah, that's what we got there. We got an artificer, another caster, another